the weather forecast with Coloca in its multipurpose banquet hall, Il PATYCHOU.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and hope the weekend is unfolding really great on your part. And thank you for making our time to be part of the weather forecast. Between tonight and tomorrow morning, we would have calm weather in the entire nation with as low as 14 degrees in the west region. We'll have the Adamawa and far north regions as low as 16 degrees, and the north and east regions expecting as low as 18 degrees. We'll also have the center and the southwest regions expecting as low as 21 degrees. And in the littoral region tonight, there is no chance of precipitation in the entire region, and by morning, there is a slim chance of rainfall in the town of Douala. Next, on to the south region tonight, we have no chance of rainfall in the entire region, and by morning, there is a possibility of rainfall in the town of Kribi. And lastly, on to the northwest region tonight, we have no chance of precipitation in the region, and by morning, we'll be expecting the least temperature in Fundong at 13 degrees. I encourage you to make our time and go visit Bafut Palace in Bamenda and have a good time. Thank you for watching, and good night.
All is set for the twin elections in various regions as Cameroonians vote MPs and mayors tomorrow. Echoes from the regions talk of calm and serenity across the country. The polls in the 7:30 news tonight. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the 7:30 news. I am Gladys Tata. There is little political activity at the national headquarters of political parties running for the February 9 polls. Kilian Dandifo now gives us a situational report of the atmosphere that characterized the headquarters of frontline political parties barely hours to the official close of campaigns. Kilian?
There is no trace of a human being at the NUDP headquarters in Yaoundé. They are canvassing for votes across the country, like this candidate at the Victory neighborhood in Yaoundé.
We are on the field every day in Yaoundé 2 Council. The inhabitants are giving us a warm reception and all is calm.
At the SDF headquarters still in Yaoundé, the situation is different. Party officials are putting in place an anti-rigging strategy.
We are preparing all the receipts for the supervisor to supervise the votes. So we are doing that to have people in all the 2,000 polling stations as the Fundi to make that this fraud should not take place.
The CPDM headquarters is busy, but it is observation mission exchanging with that party top officials.
It is customary for us to exchange with stakeholders in elections, first with state institutions and then with the different political parties. On the basis of what we have learned here, this party has no major problem and is ready for the elections.
If the national seat is less busy, it is because party activities are rounding off with an offensive canvassing for votes elsewhere.
We continue to comb the neighborhoods because you can only be sure of any victory after the polls.
We are ready in Yaoundé 7 to fight against SDF party because it's a B2B, SDF and CPDM party.
There are all different activities with diverse stakeholders centered on the February 9 polls.
The Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has issued a communique banning the movement of people as from midnight today. According to the communique issued in line with the law, business activities and urban movement of people and goods by road is not allowed until after 6 p.m. when the polls close. Beatrice Losamba has a reading of the communique.
The territorial borders were supposed to have been closed 48 hours before the polls, if we go by the minister's communique. The Minister of Territorial Administration's communique has also banned inter-urban movement of people and goods as from midnight February 8 until 6 p.m. on Elections Day when the polls close. Movement by air and railway has also been prohibited as from midnight. Businesses, games and entertainment halls are to stay closed on Elections Day as well. There are some exceptions, however. Defense and security forces, international and national journalists and observers with accreditation, ELECAM officials are allowed to move freely on this day as they carry out their duties. The movement of material to polling stations is allowed. Emergency health situations which need evacuation are exempted from this order as well. Ambulances with a laissez-passer from competent authorities can circulate freely. Medicalized flights are allowed. Meanwhile, meetings on election day are forbidden. Practically, very limited movement will be possible on this day, mainly people going to exercise their civic duties. Out-of-town movements are prohibited. But the movement of people and goods within the same urban or rural area is possible.
Some 36,000 registered voters in Tokombere subdivision of the Far North region are expected to cast their ballots this Sunday for the twin elections in 140 polling stations designated by Elections Cameroon. ELECAM officials in the area are distributing the election material, which includes 100 bride documents for the visually to the different polling station heads. Esther Kima has the details.
At a time when the campaign team of the legislative candidates for Mayo Sava South constituency, Honorable Kavayege Jibril, is rounding off its tour to woo potential voters to plebiscite the CPDM list in the plain. The 140 polling stations in the locality receive the adequate voting material on time. The exercise, supervised by the ELECAM branch head for Tokombere, Abakar Abdullahi, witnessed the presidents of the different polling stations sign out the transparent ballot boxes amongst the 36,432 potential voters duly registered at ELECAM. Provisions have been made for the 100 visually impaired with distinct braille material at their disposal to ease voting. Of the 1,300 new voters' cards registered, only 35 are still to be collected, and the ELECAM officials are upbeat about an over 95% turnout in the polls. The expectant electorate will therefore have to choose between the CPDM and the UNDP in the legislative race, while for the council election, the CPDM is running without a contender.
It's now just a matter of hours to the municipal and legislative elections nationwide. As Cameroonians prepare to vote for the members of parliament and municipal councillors, our reporter Cynthia Saptala went asking Yaoundé city dwellers what their program would look like tomorrow Sunday. This is what she compiled for the 7:30 news.
It's the card to have less than 24 hours to February 9th. As campaigns round up in the nation's capital, many inhabitants seem to have no doubt about what Sunday's program would look like.
Particularly, I don't have a program. I think there is a vote on Sunday. As a citizen, I think I must go to the vote. I'll vote on Sunday. This is my program.
Early in the morning, after my breakfast at 8 a.m., I will be in front of my voting station to perform my civic duty. After following the different campaigns, I have an idea who I will vote for. It is secret and I can't tell you.
On Sunday, after my usual physical exercise, I will go and vote. I have my voter's card now for months, and I'm prepared to do my civic duty.
At some ELECAM offices, many are still trying to get their voters' cards, with the officials guiding them on where that is possible. While electors are eager to participate in February 9th's elections, others say Sunday will be Sunday as usual. Sunday's official program includes the opening of polling stations at 8 a.m. nationwide. Voters have till 6 p.m. to cast their votes.
Meantime, the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Okali-Abilai, has assured the population of the region of special security measures taken to ensure a successful election tomorrow. He has equally described the atmosphere as calm and serene a few hours to the voting process. Governor Okali-Abilai talked to CRTV's envoy for the 2020 legislative and municipal elections in the Southwest region, Burnley and Chunda.
The governor of the Southwest region has expressed satisfaction with the way calm has taken its course in the region.
The region is quite calm. The administration is functioning. All the 6 SDOs are on seat. The 31 GOs are there, organizing to themselves to accompany Elekam for the organization of the election.
The highest authority in the region has urged the populations of the 6 divisions to go to the polls come February 9.
Tomorrow, the election, they should get out and go to assume their responsibility of citizens of Cameroon by voting to choose their leaders of tomorrow.
Even with the heavy security deployed by the government, the Southwest governor has taken special security measures to guarantee the safety of his people.
You cannot move 300 meters, 500 meters without noticing the presence of elements of forces of law and order. You see them patrolling day and night, patrolling by cars, on foot. The population and their leaders have been sensitized to collaborate with the forces of law and order to denounce those so-called terrorists.
He has exhorted persons of voting ages to take advantage of the heavy security and exercise their civic responsibilities.
The Great Support Market in Boya is one of the busy hubs in the town. Ahead of tomorrow's polls, people did a lot of buying today, and Bentley and Chunda captured the pulse in the following stand-up.
The Great Support Market here in Boya, Southwest region of Cameroon. It is a busy hub, as you are going to see in the images that follow. People are actually getting some food items ahead of the elections to take place tomorrow, Sunday, February 9. The municipal and legislative elections, let me recall to you, people want to have something to grab, to bite tomorrow as the elections will be rolling out. We are just coming from some of the meetings, the last minute meetings, for instance, the SDF and the aspirant promised for Boya Urban promised to be here in the next few hours to come and woo voters, potential voters, to come and cast their votes in for the SDF in Boya, because he believes that he has a manifesto project to bring water and employment to Boya. As we are talking right away, people are going about buying their things and taxes are flying due to the reinforcement of the security seated all over around to ensure that people are safe as they prepare to get some few things in their fridges ahead of tomorrow's election. And other rallies have been programmed. The CPDM and other parties will be having their grand finale, their rallies in the few hours to come ahead of the elections tomorrow. Everything is safe here at Great Support and other parts of the town as people prepare to go and cast their votes for a change tomorrow. Thanks for joining us in Boya at the Great Support Market.
Thanks, Bentley and Chunda. Residents of Yaoundé have been sensitized on the need to cast their votes this Sunday in 2020 twin elections. A caravan to that effect crisscrossed some major neighborhoods in Yaoundé, imploring all Cameroonians to participate in the voting exercise. The caravan was organized by the association Friends of President Paul Biya, as Joyce Tata tells us in the following report.
Awakening the consciousness of Cameroonians in fulfilling their citizenship rights by voting this Sunday pushed these members of the National Association of Friends of the Head of State to go on the streets in Yaoundé. At the Bankolo, Carrière, Elik-Sono, Nguso neighborhoods, the team took time to exchange with the population, clarifying the doubts of some, not on who to vote, but to simply choose their representatives, both in parliament and councils.
When we finish this caravan today, I'm very happy because I'm see when we are passing any Cameroonian, we are looking to read and listen what we say. What we say is what any Cameroonian was supposed to go vote on Sunday. We are not member with political party.
The caravan kept reiterating this message to all potential voters to participate in the voting exercise as from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. this Sunday, for the choice of leaders is theirs for an emerging Cameroon.
The inhabitants of Mimboman in the Yaoundé 4 subdivision have saluted the prompt response from the head of state for rehabilitating some major stretch of roads in their neighborhoods. They were speaking today during the visit of the president of the CPDM Council campaign for Fundi 4, Philip Mbargamboa. Our reporter Gerard Nanji tells us more in the following report.
One of the major preoccupations of the inhabitants of Yaoundé 4, articulated during the CPDM campaign rally on Friday, was the issue of bad roads. Responding promptly to this, the head of state has ordered the rehabilitation of some stretches of road in the Mimboman neighborhood. The president of the Council Campaign Commission was on ground to have an assessment of the progress of the construction work.
Difficulties people here have to go around. It was really difficult. This street is a real problem for them. The head of state has been informed and he has decided immediately this street be repaired.
For their part, the population has expressed their joy, saying it is a promise kept.
Women will not anymore have to walk by foot in order to sell their goods.
It is good that the work has started. We thought it was just a fake promise. All we want is that they should keep making the population.
This reaction party bigwigs in Fundi 4 maintain is not only politically engineered, but also has economic and social impacts.
It's not only for campaign, it's mainly for the population. He does what he can to solve this problem.
This gesture has raised hope among the population that other worries will be attended to after the proclamation of results of the February 9 polls.
Over in Bamenda, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has saluted the efforts of administrative authorities in handling the crisis in the Northwest region. He was speaking in Bamenda during the distribution of relief aid sent to the region by the presidential couple. Yesterday's event concluded week-long activities that saw thousands of internally displaced persons receive the aid from Paul and Chantal Biya. Ola Titanki has the details from CRTV Northwest in Bamenda.
A non-stop one-week distribution of humanitarian aid spanning from Monday, February 3 to this Friday, February 7. Each day, 200 displaced persons benefited from the government gesture.
I'm from Nani subdivision. I was displaced around early September. I'd like to thank the presidential couple.
Blanket will help me to cover the baby because I was here with my sister. I do not have blanket. I was using my loin to cover myself and my other daughter.
Some 1,000 beneficiaries in 5 days, but over 170,000 recipients since the inception of the 12 billion humanitarian package by government, as disclosed by the Minister of Territorial Administration during the close of the week-long distribution exercise.
The message from President Paul Biya is that we'll intensify the distribution of the humanitarian aid, and that will take it down to divisions and some subdivisions and to some villages. I think that is the first phase of the relief, and I think that the second phase is self-reliance. We have to permit the local population to see how they can start all over again.
Minister Paul Atanganji also used the distribution to call on the internally displaced persons to come out on Sunday, February 9, to perform their civic responsibility by voting.
The Mayo Banyo District Hospital in the Adamawa region has been equipped with new medical kits aimed at improving the quality of healthcare services in the hospital. While handing over the kits on behalf of the head of state, the minister, Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, reassured the population that President Paul Biya is conscious of their health needs. Elise Waji Banmia tells us more from CRTV Adamawa.
Inhabitants of Mayo Banyo Division have for the past years been used to a district hospital with roughly 71 beds for a minimum of 200 patients who visit monthly. This ordeal, among several others, will now be a thing of the past following the head of state's donation of kits to the hospital. The package includes 20 hospital beds, 20 orthopedic mattresses, delivery kits, and an up-to-date ultrasound machine.
We thank the president through the minister for this humble and important gesture towards the people of Mayo Banyo. And we are sure that with the instruments we've received, we are going to go a long way to keep them safe so that we render the services that the community needs.
During a ceremony to hand over the gift to the population via the regional delegates for public health, the Minister Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Muhammadu Mustafa, told the people that the gesture is an indication that the head of state is willing to improve upon the quality of healthcare services in the entire division.
The head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, have done a lot for Mayo Banyo. We have done what we call a campaign de santé a few months ago. You know, we have seen the problem they are having. They lack material, and the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, me being one of his closest collaborators, you know, was coming here, he said, go and give those, you know, things to my brothers, my sisters, my kids, even from Mayo Banyo.
Apart from the Banyo District Hospital, the Bankim, Mayo Dali, Sonkolong, and Sambo Labo Health Centers have equally received a similar medical package.
The first edition of the African Women in Leadership Organization CEMAC Youth Summit has kicked off in Yaoundé with close to 300 women in attendance. The Empowerment Summit will focus on training women to take up leadership positions in the sub-region. The founder of the association, Honorable Eliza Atea, has told the young women drawn from 12 African countries to build their capacity and become the new generation female leaders in the continent. Emanuela Vemnue reports.
More than 250 young women from CEMAC expressing their readiness to take up leadership positions and work for the attainment of sustainable development goals. It is the first AULO CEMAC Youth Summit in Cameroon.
Social entrepreneurs, we have startups, we have students, we have young women and men with special needs. We bringing this together, putting in CEMAC is for us to harmonize ourselves as youth and promote innovative leadership. And through innovation, youth can be able to promote their economy.
The African Women in Leadership Organization Cameroon chapter wants to change the mindset of youths through idea sharing and networking.
In AULO, we are trying to build the next generation of female leadership. We want to let them know that there should be a change of mindset. When you change the way you think, you will generate revenue, you will solve problems, and you create opportunities for others.
From the founder of AULO to the UNDP representative and that of the Foreign Commonwealth Office to the U.S. Embassy, the message is delivered to remain the empowerment of women and the girl child.
Being the first time, I didn't expect to see this crowd. It goes to show that the CEMAC country who are here, they're ready for the greater things because the future of Africa is in the hands of the women.
As they show off their creations at the AULO CEMAC Youth Summit in Yaoundé, they believe future female leaders will emerge after this idea sharing and networking summit.
Our book of the week is titled Crise des valeurs éthiques et morales au Cameroun, quelles pistes de solutions pour le développement intégral de l'homme? Authored by Marcia Takukam Yumesi, a pastor by profession, the author proposes solutions to some of the deviances youths are exposed to in this decade. A review of the book is with our reporter, Dorothy Ari Agbo.
A blind horizon and a shadow advancing towards the light. A twig of branches and leaves also covers the sky above the man who succeeds. The first cover of this book thus attempts to tell us about its content, a cry from the author against the reversal of values. The father is no longer the father. He is no longer entitled to the benefits from sons. The author, Marshal Takukam, throws light on modernization. He which according to him works with this education at a discount, since it is necessary to get out of the ordinary to sort out the good and the not so good, ethical crises and moral values of Cameroon. The first part of this book is that from which solutions also emerge. With this author, self-hate is no longer laudable. It is his own life experience that is offered to the future reader of these 100 pages. When we say that he talks about him, and we add that he is a pastor of the Evangelical Church of Cameroon, Mass is offered on this simple, concise, and clear style. It's like the Gospels. We read easily, we will certainly understand. It's applying that might be complicated.
And in sports, some young children in Yaoundé have been drilled on karate. It is coming less than 5 months to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in Japan, wherein karate will feature for the first time in the multi-sport event. Daniel Ekonde has more in the sports report.
As young as 6, the children are taught self-defense. They take rounds in punching, kicking and knee strikes. These are the elements officials at Fuda Karate Club want them to grasp.
This session is to evaluate the children, to put them in a higher level in karate, to also prepare them for future competitions.
Tender as they are, they stumble on the subject.
I am happy to make this karate because it can make you to be having power, so that when somebody will come on to beat you that you don't know why, you can fight.
I enjoy it fine because it helped me to defend me and my family and other person.
The Fuda Karate Club says it hopes the kids can take up the sport in the future. With karate making its debut in the Olympic Games this year, it is possible.
And it is with the sports report that we draw the curtains on the 7:30 news. But before we take leave of you, this lone headline. All is set for the twin elections in various regions as Cameroonians vote MPs and mayors tomorrow. And in this newscast, you had echoes from the regions where they talk of calm and that serenity that reigns across the country. The news in French comes up at 8:30, and you'll be in the company of Karine Olivier-Bit. And I'll be here tomorrow, same time. But keep on enjoying interesting programs on your favorite channel, the CRTV. Good night.